This old house.
I'll show you how to get the best results from the money you spend on insulation.
When you're shopping for these things, you can buy them unfaced, like it says here, or faced, which is what we're looking at right here.
Go, 18,000 pounds.
That's incredible.
It's always nice when it's away from the house.
Yes, keep swinging that way.
And just like that, you've got a pool.
Awesome, that went fast.
And I'll pay a visit to Celebration, Florida, and install a high-efficiency heat pump water heater. And it's got a real energy story, too. This unit, as a heat pump, will probably cut your electrical consumption for hot water by half. Wonderful.
Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House, where we are starting a brand new season. The questions have been flooding in, and the crew is standing by, ready to answer them. Hey, Jen, how are you?
Hey, Kevin.
Excited for the new season,
I'm really excited.
but hard at work here.
Oh, sorry. I'm just talking to a homeowner we're working on. He really has a small lot, and he wants a swimming pool.
Okay.
So there are these things I've been looking up called plunge pools.
Oh, wow.
Have you heard of a plunge pool?
I have not. That's it. So just like a mini pool?
Yeah, it's like a 13 by 7, 5 feet deep, but you could just nestle it into any site.
Very
So I'm
cool.
working with this woman also, I found, that she creates these pools. So she's going to show me how they're made.
All right, let's do
Then
it.
we can get back over to that site.
Nice.
Karen, thanks for having me up here.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you could make it.
Well, your pools are so beautiful. I just really want to know how they're made.
Thank you. We make plunge pools. They're deep bodies of water that are cool in the summer, warm in the winter.
So does that process start here?
Yeah, we make them right here at this concrete factory.
Okay.
A traditional pool would be poured on site.
Yeah.
Sometimes the weather can be a problem. We're able to make them right here in a controlled environment and using all the equipment that our concrete factory already has.
That's fantastic. So can I see how the process goes?
Yeah, let's go take a look.
All right, cool.
So one of the things that makes this process so efficient is that our precaster pours a lot of products at the same time. You can see they're making a pump vault.
Yep.
They make septic tanks.
That is very efficient.
And this is our pour right here.
Okay.
We've given them all the dimensions for the pool. We're going to have a 4-inch wall. The rebar's in between those two panels.
Okay.
We have given them all the locations of the pipe
Okay.
for the plumbing, and they'll be pouring the concrete right in there. So they mix the concrete in the next room, and they bring it in on the pouring bucket right here on the crane.
That's efficient, so they could go to each one, do a pour, pour, pour.
That's right. Here comes another bucket. You can see that the pools are done in multiple pours. It's going to take about 3 buckets to get the pool all the way filled. This pool will end up weighing over 16,000 pounds.
Wow, in just about 10 minutes, you have yourself a pool.
Well, not quite. The pool's going to sit here for about 24 hours.
Okay.
Then we're going to strip the forms. It'll cure for 2 to 4 weeks, and then we're going to bring it over to our shop.
All right.
So here we have a pool that's been curing for a couple of weeks. It's already been stripped out of its forms. You can see that there's a waterproofing membrane applied to the lower third of the pool. You see here a copper bonding wire to keep the pool safe from stray electrical current.
Very important.
The pipes you see here are part of the plumbing, and we'll connect that to the equipment eventually.
Okay, so what kind of work happens in your shop?
Well, now we start the work of finishing the inside of the pool. And you can see Michael, our tiler, is in there working right now. He's applying a waterproofing membrane, and the surface has been made nice and smooth for him by our fabricators.
It looks like he's just painting it on.
Yeah, he rolls on the waterproofing membrane to all 4 sides and the bottom. And then in the corners, he reinforces them with a fabric, and then he paints more waterproofing membrane over that.
So that's just extra waterproofing to reinforce the corners?
Right, remember it's a pool, so you can't have too much waterproofing. So now we let the waterproofing membrane dry for at least 24 hours, and then we can tile.
Okay.
Keep in mind the tiles that we pre-select are suitable for pool conditions. They'll be underwater most of the time, and they're suitable for freeze-thaw conditions in the event that somebody empties their pool and it's in freezing conditions.
So they have to be weather appropriate.
Yes. So here's some of the beautiful porcelain tiles that we really love to use in our pools.
So you could use square, rectangular, it doesn't have to be a set size.
Right. These work really well. They blend so nicely with the natural landscape.
And put them in just like you're in your bathroom.
Pretty much. The materials that we use are stronger and suitable for pools, but the process is very similar. Michael starts with a very strong thin set. He applies the tile, and you can see now that he's applying an epoxy grout all over the tile.
So will that also help with waterproofing?
Yes, it absolutely will.
Okay.
We have just a little more finish work to do inside the pool. Then we load it on a truck and we bring it to the site.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Jen, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Hey, Karen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Looks like everything is progressing just fine here.
Yes, my wife and I are very excited. As you know, we're building this house from the ground up, and we're a couple of weeks away from moving, so.
And I totally understand why you wouldn't put a traditional size swimming pool in here. It would take up the whole yard.
Yeah, so we're actually looking to start our family here, and we weren't willing to kind of give up all the play space, so I think we kind of have the best of both worlds, where we have an area for the kids to run around, and then we have this awesome entertaining space where, you know, we'll be able to entertain family and friends. And I want to show you guys kind of how we envision this laying out, right? So this is our breakfast nook. That's our family room. We kind of want to have a space that flows right out here, which is why we're putting a deck here. And the deck is actually going to flow down to a patio. That's going to have a fire pit, barbecue off to the side, some table chairs. Yeah, we're really excited. And then over here is where the plunge pool is going to be.
Look at this. It's so perfectly just tucked in using all usable space. I love this little nook.
It's looking good. We came in, we've excavated, we've laid 18 inches of crushed stone, we've laser leveled, we've marked our spot for the pool placement. Now we just got to get the pool in. The dimensions that we've chosen for the pool are ones that fit easily on a flatbed truck. 18,000 pounds.
That's incredible.
It's always nice when it's away from the house.
Yes, keep swinging that way.
Wow, he just cleared that tree at the top. He's got mad skills.
$15.25 still?
15.25. And just like that, you've got a pool.
Awesome, that went fast.
I know, it's amazing. Karen, let me help you with that.
Okay, that'd be great.
What do you have here, Karen?
Well, we brought your equipment, Steve, or this is some of it. We've pre-assembled this in our shop. Here's your automation panel so you can run your pool from your smartphone. Pump, filter, we have a heater to bring in. We'll locate this away from the pool. We'll dig a trench from the pool to the equipment pad, and then we'll backfill the pool.
Cool.
And once you backfill, you're going to have this exposed concrete from the pool, so you're going to be able to veneer whatever you'd like, whether it be stone or wood.
I like that.
And once the landscape and hardscape crews come in, this is all going to come together so beautifully. Your patio and your pool will have natural materials that blend so nicely together, and I'm excited. I think it will be beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having us, and thank you, Karen.
Tommy, we're talking insulation. We've done a lot of stories on it in the past, and we know that there are different types of insulation, different installation methods, different places in the house to put it. If somebody's trying to get, let's say, the biggest bang for their buck, if they had just one place in the house to focus on, where would that be, and what do you think they should use?
Well, first of all, if you think about insulation, the biggest bang for your buck, it's going to pay you back forever on saving on your utility bills. And if you have a house like this, for example, and you have no insulation in the walls, you're going to have to hire a contractor to come in and remove some siding and blow the insulation in. But if a homeowner wants to do it, then right here would be the attic floor or the ceiling up above.
Yep.
If you can add insulation to that area right there, it's going to save you money.
And it's an easy place to get to. We've got access to it typically from the attic, and some of the older houses may have no insulation in the attic floor. Some of them may have insulation that's compressed or not as much as you need.
Right. And you can add different types of insulation. You can add in cellulose like this, and you can get a bag, cut the bag open and spread it across the whole floor, or you can rent a machine and blow it in.
Yep.
Any way you do it, whether it's cellulose or blown in fiberglass insulation, you want to blow it higher than the roof joist or the ceiling joist because it's going to settle down and compress over time.
Right.
If you have insulation between your existing bays already, and let's say this is a joist in the ceiling right here, if you have insulation that comes up halfway and you have 6 inches of joist showing, you want to insulate that cavity right there. So you would buy an insulation that would be 6 inches thick, and you would lay it in there, bringing it up just a little bit higher than the joist itself.
Okay, so we can blow in cellulose, or we can use fiberglass bats. When you're shopping for these things, you can buy them unfaced, like it
Right.
says here, or faced, which is what we're looking at right here.
And it's important that you use unfaced because you're going over an existing insulation. You know, you say, well, I'm going to use this insulation right here. It has a face on it. Would it matter if I keep it up, or would it matter if I keep it down?
Would it matter if I keep it up or if I keep it down?
It would matter, all right? So your existing insulation, even though it may be that thick, the moisture that's warm and swollen with moisture in the heat comes through the ceiling, through the insulation, and is now the moisture is stopped right here with this vapor barrier.
And I think people may not appreciate that it's not just paper, it is actually a vapor barrier. You can see sort of that side right there. And so you're afraid that you're going to trap moisture between these layers, and that's going to cause a whole bunch of problems.
That's exactly what's going to happen, because the moisture will now wet the insulation below, making it inefficient.
And I guess the same thing's going to happen even if we turn it upside down.
Yep.
We won't trap it here, but we will now trap
You
it.
trap it up here, wetting this insulation. As soon as the insulation's wet, it can cause all kinds of problems, and the R factor is low. So unfaced insulation.
Gotcha.
You can buy that unfaced, or you can remove the paper gently, try to keep it, and make that unfaced.
Gotcha. Okay. The other thing you've spoken about in the past are these vented roofs where there's actually air deliberately brought in and vented out to kind of expel the moisture, the heat.
Right.
Can we screw that up?
Yeah, you want to make sure that your attic is vented. You want to make sure that the soffit vent can work and get air into the attic. And you can tell that by going into the attic, and you should see the light across the attic floor on both sides of the building, but you have to have a means for that to draw the air in. Now you could either have a gable vent on each end of the house, or a ridge vent that runs across the whole part of the house, creating negative pressure, drawing the cooler air from below into the attic, moving that air out.
So if we're adding insulation at this part of the attic, we just want to make sure that we don't clog up the intake, because then that just makes that whole system
Right.
ineffective.
Exactly. And you really want to make sure that you don't have any dryer vents or bathroom vents into the attic, because that warm air will collect on the underside of the roof, causing mold and problems.
If we put in cellulose, or if we put in unfaced fiberglass, we're not going to be able to walk on it unless we build a floor. If we've got a floor already in place, is rigid foam an acceptable option?
Yeah, you could take the rigid foam and lay it on the boards so that you can now walk on it, but you need to cover that with like 1/4 inch plywood to walk on it, but also it's called what is called an ignition barrier.
Yep.
So that's what you want to do.
Cool. All right. Well, good information, as always. Thank you.
Thanks.
This is Celebration, Florida, a mixed-use community that began construction in 1994, just south of Orlando. An architectural movement known as New Urbanism sought to recreate the best parts of early 20th century small towns, but in large-scale housing developments. Celebration is one of the most prominent examples of this movement, and it generated some serious buzz when it was first being built. The housing stock covers a diverse range of budget. High-end mansions with golf course views are just down the street from dense apartments. The houses here are sited on small lots with tiny front yards and an emphasis on sidewalks and front porches to allow the neighbors a chance to visit and socialize. Garage doors and garbage cans are hidden behind the houses in alleys, more akin to an urban neighborhood. Unlike most residential developments, this one includes a commercial district. Town center evokes a small town feel and is walkable from most homes. The move towards denser and more walkable neighborhoods has been evolving over the last 25 years. And it's safe to say that Celebration and the larger New Urbanism movement have played a key role in that shift and really influenced how we build and live in our houses to this day. Scott?
Richard.
How are you, sir?
Excellent. Welcome to Celebration.
Nice to be here. I've had a chance to visit and look around a little bit. Now, you dropped me an email about your water heater.
Yes, it's right around this way.
Okay, I'll follow you.
The hot water heater is right here in the garage.
The garage. There's no basements in Florida, so the garage is storage and mechanical and water heater, and even the car.
Yes. I noticed a leak on the outside. I traced it back in, followed the pipes up, goes into 2 different outlets here on the hot water heater.
All right.
So I was doing that, I noticed this is about a 20-year-old tank.
They don't live forever.
No, and that's why I kind of emailed you about different options for tankless.
Okay. I've always used gas units. You have gas here?
We do not have gas.
Okay, so with electric, it's a little different story. For a house like this, you need a lot of power for that burner to come on, those elements to come on. So here's your panel. So that looks pretty full. Where's your main breaker?
Side of the house.
All right, good.
Right here.
All right. Oh, and I see your drain pipe there. It's been dripping for a while, hasn't it?
Quite a while.
So here's the main panel for the whole house, and here's the breaker. You can see right here. See 150. So that means you have 150 amps of power available for the whole house right now, and you've got air conditioning. So the smallest instantaneous electric water heater has 340 amp breakers. That means if all the elements were on, you could use as much as 120 amps of power. Okay, so if we did this and the AC came on, it could mean it could snap this breaker, turn off the power, and that's not good. I just don't think an electrical tankless is the right solution for you on this one, okay? But you still have a 20-year-old water heater we've got to get rid of. I think I've got a solution that'll work with your existing electrical setup and even save you energy.
Sounds good.
So inside the existing water heater, there's two of these. These are electrical elements. There's one here and one here. And they just immerse inside the tank filled with water, and they heat up the water like an old coffee maker, you know? The new tank is going to look very similar. The bottom 2/3 is going to have an element and an element, but on top of it is a thing called a heat pump. And this is like an air conditioner. You put a window air conditioner and it pulls heat from inside the building and dumps it to outside. In this case, we're going to actually find heat that's inside the garage and transfer it and dump it into the tank filled with water.
Perfect, because there's plenty of heat in this garage.
Right, and this will actually help to cool and dehumidify the garage too.
Great.
All right, so this will carry most of the load, except if you have some case where you got 2 or 3 showers in a row and it can't keep up, and the backup elements will be there just if needed.
Okay.
And it's got a real energy story too. This unit, as a heat pump, will probably cut your electrical consumption for hot water by half.
Wonderful.
So let's start by turning off the electrical power to the old water heater, turning off the cold water, draining it, and cutting it out of here. Right at the tip of my thumb, don't cut it. You're a pro. Hear that? That's the heat pump that's on. I got the water back on, the electricity to it, and now it's running, okay? So here's our water heater. I want to take you through some of the things we did. I added a new shutoff valve right here. It's a ball valve. It was an old gate valve before. With a ball valve, you can close it, and you can open, you can tell which direction, okay? Cold water comes in right here, and it actually comes all the way to the bottom of the water heater right here, and it gets heated and comes up this way. You can see right here, it leaves through the top and goes out to the faucets right there, okay? There's some important safety devices that are on any water heater, tank type water heater. One is this. This is a vacuum valve. Now this is designed so if you ever shut the water heater off and it started to cool off and contract, it would break the vacuum so it wouldn't collapse, okay? And the other thing is this. It's a temperature and pressure relief valve. Critically important. The most important device on it is designed to relieve at 210 degrees temperature. That's just below steam, or at 150 pounds pressure. So if, in either case, if you got to those levels and you didn't have a valve like this, it could almost become a bomb. So this is the most important device to keep running. There's also an additional valve right here. It's an additional relief valve. Anytime we heat up water, it needs a place to expand. Most houses, it expands backwards through the cold water main, but you and your neighbors have these things called check valves on the water mains coming into the building so that the water can only go in and not go backwards. So there's no place for the heated water to expand. Now, we've always used a thermal expansion tank up in New England, but here in Florida, this is what they use. And I think that's really what was leaking, you know, because it was cold water running through outside. So we've replaced that. That's fine. And now you can see there's an additional source of water you never had before, and that's from the heat pump itself. When this is running, there's a byproduct called condensate. And that condensate will come out through any of these two drains and go to that same drain to outside, all right?
Wonderful.
All right, you're gonna have plenty of hot water for you, your wife, your daughter, and you're gonna save a lot of electricity, all right?
Thank you for coming to Celebration.
All right,
Appreciate
It's
it.
been my pleasure. I wanna hear from you how the savings were too.
Absolutely.
Okay, be good. So that's a cool unit. A little cautionary tale though, it has the equivalent of an air conditioner up on top of it, the heat pump. So there's a little bit of white noise. You gotta think about where it goes in the building.
Like a compressor and a fan going all times?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing it needs is ambient air around it to be able to pick up that temperature, so you don't want to jam it in a little closet.
Okay. So let's get back to his original question, which is when you can use an instantaneous water. People love them, super efficient, you love them.
Yep.
When does it make sense to go to electric with instantaneous?
Well, let's start with any instantaneous. It's going to hang on the wall, and it's going to use nothing except when you open up a faucet.
Right.
So in that case, a tank type water heater has a burner underneath it that's on all day, all night, you know, heating up the water. So with this, we need a bigger burner, and when you open up the faucet, it heats up the water, but it has to be a lot more power available, okay?
This is a gas unit,
Right.
and so even though it's going to use less energy over time, it's
Right.
going to need a big burst of gas
That's right.
for a short period
Right.
of time.
So now you go to electric, the same issue applies.
That's an electric.
Isn't this cool? This is an electric, whole house
love
electric,
that.
right? So cold in, hot out, but the same question about having more available power. So inside a unit like this, you've got 3 elements, 1, 2, 3, which means you might need 3 40 amp breakers, which is 120 amps. Many houses don't have that kind of available power. They only have 100 amps, okay? So the other thing to consider with any of these instantaneous water heaters is the thing called temperature rise. What temperature is the groundwater coming into the building?
And that varies across the country?
Depends on where you live. Down in Florida or in the Texas Panhandle, you might have groundwater that could come in at 60 or 70 or even higher sometimes. So now that's not hard to heat water from 70 to 120.
And up here in New England?
40. We can go down into the high 30s.
Big
okay?
difference.
So now if you're trying to heat all that, you have to have plenty of power to be able to do it. But a unit like this in New England could give you about 2 to 2.2 gallons per minute.
So right at the threshold of one shower
That's
and one
right.
shower
So
only.
I don't think that's viable for a house with 2 or 3 bathrooms and a bunch of kids and family. If it is a whole house unit.
You could put it, say, in an in-law suite
Yep.
or an ancillary building, right?
That's right.
If you're down in Texas, this could potentially go
It
for
could
the
carry it
whole.
all day, as long as you have enough available power coming into the building.
Right, cool. All right, good information.
All
As
right.
always, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, keep your questions coming. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor
I'm Rich Thui.
for Ask This Old House.
You want to take that, I know. I know you want
2 of them.
I know.
Next time on Ask This Old House.
I'm headed to Johnson Space Center to see how NASA's work on the International Space Station may change the way you live in your future house.
This basement window has seen better days, but the fix isn't as complicated as you may think. I'll show you what to do. And now I'm going to score it. I want to push down firmly and make one cut and one cut only.
And I'll give you the recipe to make your own concrete.
Ask This Old House has much more to show you. To watch full episodes anytime, go to pbs.org/askthisoldhouse. And join us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This Old House magazine, the companion to the television series, provides trusted information from our team of experts. Use your credit card to order 10 issues for $10. Call 1-800-221-5900 to subscribe.